Hello, Bill Molyneux here for Bill's Wargame World. Last couple days to raise money for the Gettysburg Foundation. We're at $308. With you watching this video, we may get to 310. So everything I make each month, I'm donating. This month it goes to the Gettysburg Foundation. Next week, we'll decide what small museum we'll donate next. We are in Matthews, Virginia, Port Haywood at the Virginia House. And of course, my Navy ships are here. Well, tonight we're going to play 1898 Spanish-American War. I have some Spanish ships and some German ships. Going to duke it out with Admiral Dewey and the battle cruiser, protected cruiser. A lot of people have different terms for the USS Olympia, which is still afloat in Philadelphia. So we have several Spanish-American War Great White Fleet ships coming to take on the German and the Spanish Navy in the Philippines. Sort of a hypothetical. The Spanish fleet is so poor, if you don't throw in a few German ships, it's hopeless. So we're using my beer and pretzel rules modify from the great Buck Surdrew of the Hawks. And I'm not going to bother going over the rules. There's our Great White Fleet. And yes, they would be painted gray in combat. But for tonight, they are still white. Cool, huh? Well, those are our Spanish ships. The four little ships, those are Spanish torpedo boats, little gunboats. They each have a torpedo. And then we have 3 German light cruisers that are coming along to help. All right, now I'm also using a different tripod here. I'm going to buy some new equipment for this house in the coming weeks when I am here. So let's try to get, and I also got to bring down my other war game tables. So we're going to just start off playing. I'm going to go ahead. I got my combat charts off to the side just because I'm still using a small dining room table. All right, let's get going. All right. Now I've cut the movement in half for tonight. But our American fleet is moving 4 inches a ship. And I got to see what you see. Now, I have this little Yorktown, and I'm going to try to, it's just a gunboat. I'm going to use an inch to go there. And this thing moves up to 8. Now, I'm not going to keep track of the ship movements as much as far as speed. Moving you can decrease speed by 1 and increase speed by 1, or 2 on decrease. But we will, it's just a fun evening game. I'm going to go ahead and move my Spanish ships and my German. Then we're going to open fire. All right. And I want to get on the broadside of that, of the Olympia is right here. And then we have the Brooklyn, Baltimore. So let's see if you can see what I'm doing. Yes, you can. And then we're going to plug along at 3. And we're just going to follow the line. The torpedo boats are going in 8 inches. They're going to all head straight for the Olympia. All right. And then we'll bring in our Our Spanish ships only roll a couple dice. They're not really, I have not used these in a very long time, and I got to check my rule sheet. There is a Spanish issue. If they roll a 6, they don't get to move only 2 inches, but that one's all right. That one's okay. This one only moved 2, and that one's only moving 2. All right, so Spanish engines are not so good on those two. All right, now I have to resolve a lot of firing. Our ships are close together. Let me see what you can see. I'll pause the camera here. All right, the Olympia is going to start the game off. And she's going to fire on there with its 2 8-inch guns. And 24. And I got to keep the combat chart here with me. All right. And we have 2 hits. And damage. I rolled boxcars. Holy cow. So you flip the page over, and it might be critical hit, 12 points, and I rolled a 5. It's got a fire, additional 1d6 of hit points, and 12 points of hull damage. So right off the bat, the Olympia just, and I gotta go mark off its points, but she's on fire. It will lose 1d6. It's a Spanish ship, and they had a lot of wood still on their ships, so it actually will roll to catch on fire quite easy, or to put it out. Instead of 50% chance, it's a 5 or a 6. And hit points, I got to mark that off with my pen. It only has 2 hit points left. All right. The aft turret will fire, and they're both hits on that German battleship or cruiser. And let's see what happens. We got a 6 and a 3. Armor penetration. All right. So the Olympia just fired at this German cruiser. Actually, it's a light cruiser. And it scored 3 points of damage. But no fire, no extra damage. Now I'm going to start rolling all this combat. I'll come back to you. I think you'd get bored. And I'll just do a recap after this firing of turn 1. I think that would be the best way to do this. Well, welcome back, everyone. What I've done is I keep track of all the statistics of the ships on paper. But to give you an idea, the Olympia here has taken 2 points of hull damage. The Baltimore has taken 2, 3 on the Philly, and our Yorktown, Concord, they're all fine. Now the firefight over on the other side, 2 of the torpedo boats got zapped. They only have 2 hit points. And then, of course, the Spanish flagship has 14 hit points. It's already down to 12. And then our German lead cruiser is already taken 8 points, and it's down on speed. It's down to 3 inches of movement. All right. So I have not had these out, and I bet 5 or 6 years or more. So it is neat to have the Spanish-American War fleet out. I'm going to roll for movement. I hope you like the idea of doing the dice so you can see the hit points, because it's impossible to show you the paperwork. And the Spanish get to go first. I'm going to go ahead and move them. And then I'll move my American fleet and come back to you. All right, welcome back, everyone. Now I have moved both sides. So our fleets have moved. The Olympia is being attacked by 2 torpedo boats. But we have to roll and see if that Spanish ship that's on fire, that is our Spanish flagship. I'm not going to try to pronounce the names. A 5 or a 6 puts out the fire. And re-roll the 5. So if we hadn't put out that fire, we'd roll a d6. It only has 2 hit points left and 2 movement points. But we are good for... that crew is really lucky. And so we're going to... my little American torpedo boat is coming up. Yorktown, I think it is. I have to look on the sheet. Anyhow, let's see what happens now. We're going to... I think we'll do their firing, but we're going to do these... Torpedoes are last on the sheets. Okay, the ships have moved. We fired torpedoes. And so the torpedoes actually are in the movement phase and not the fire phase. Okay, so I had to check, and I have not... These are similar to the Buck Sudrow's beer and pretzel ironclad rules. I basically adjusted them for Spanish-American War, but there are differences. So I'm sure that's under 3 inches. But if Kim Metis is watching or Jack Brendel, I will verify. Yeah, we're just about at 3. Now the one is at a bow. Neither one is solid flank. So this one here is going to hit on a 6. No torpedo hit. It went swishing by. The other one, we're going to have it hit on a 4, 5, or 6. And that torpedo is coming right at the Olympia. The Olympia is a big protected cruiser. It has a chance to avoid that torpedo, but unfortunately only on a 6. And we rolled a 5. It's getting hit by a torpedo. And oh my gosh, it was a dud. How lucky is that? We rolled a 1. The torpedo hit the hull of the Olympia and failed to explode. Now, Admiral Dewey, Gridley, you may fire when ready. And that's the 3rd time I've dropped my rule sheet and I had to pick it up. And I don't know if Buck from the Hawks will ever watch this video, but he inspires my naval games. And by the way, I'm playing this right off from the Chesapeake Bay. And Lisa, my lovely wife, is supposed to be here tomorrow with the nephew. So, all right, let's get back to our game. Our torpedoes have been fired. Those ships, those torpedo boats only have 1 each, and they only have a 3-inch gun forward and aft. Once they shoot that torpedo, they're more or less useless. So I'm going to pause the camera and resolve all the action. Welcome back, everyone. Well, I'm going to start off with the Spanish. All the torpedo boats are gone. Our Spanish cruiser, the Scenario something or other, sorry about my pronunciation, you just see C out there. It is sunk. It only had 2 hit points left and it was on fire. We put the fire out. The Olympia took some damage. It's up to 5 now. Baltimore's at 4. Philadelphia's at 3. Brooklyn's at 1. Our Concord and Yorktown are still fine. We lost the German cruiser that was out here. It finally went down. And then we have a light cruiser. He has 1 point of damage, and he has a fire. And we also have a fire on one of our American ships. Now, we have this little torpedo boat coming up. And I don't know. We'll see what happens. I probably shouldn't send that in. All right. So that is the end of the turn. We're going to go ahead and move. And if you're wondering why the Spanish ships in the back, I'm using an optional rule. They rolled for bad engines. They're only moving 2 inches a turn. So they sort of aren't so good. And the Olympia, by the way, has 16 hit points and very heavy armor. All right, I'm going to go ahead and roll to see who goes first. Or Spanish are the red die. Americans are moving first. I will go ahead and pause the camera. Welcome back to, by the way, this is an actual scenario, a scenario from, I think it's Ram Speed. It's a micro metagame from the 80s. It's Dewey's dream, where he fights both the Germans and the Spanish to take possession of the entire Philippines. I've moved everyone. Of course, our two Spanish light cruisers out there were at movement of 2. They're sort of useless. And then this medium Spanish cruiser, he's doing all right at 4 inches. I've split up my American fleet. I wanted to get a broadside in, and I'm hoping with concentrated fire. And then down below, I have the 2 German ships, and I'm focusing these 3 ships in the torpedo boat for them. I'm outside of torpedo range here, and it's only got 2 3-inch guns in it. So let's stop the camera. I'm going to go ahead and resolve combat. Breaking into the action, our Yorktown gunboat was fired on by the 2. It has 2 5-inch guns on the forward. And by the way, there's one of those guns, Spanish-American war guns from the Battle of Manila Bay, I believe, in Palmyra, New York, in the park. One of the admirals brought it back as a war trophy. Anyhow, we lost our first American ship with only 4 hit points. The little gunboat did not last. I'll go back and continue our rolling of combat dice. Hey, welcome back, everyone. We had a lot of action. The Olympia is at, I think, 9 hit points. It lost 9. It has 16. That's the Ponce de Leon heavy cruiser. It's down to 8. It has 10 hit points. It's also on fire, along with the Olympia's on fire. Olympia's cruised better. They put out a fire with a 50% chance roll. We did eliminate another German ship. Germans are down to 1 ship. Other than taking out that gunboat, they did some damage, and we just having these 2 Spanish ships at a speed a factor of 2 just to turn them used all their movement. So I'm a little worried about the Olympia. A couple more hits, it could go down. Admiral Dewey would be very unhappy, along with Teddy Roosevelt, I guess Assistant Secretary of the Navy. And let's see who's going to go first again. The Americans will go first. I'll pause the camera. Spanish-American War, 1898. Well, welcome back, everyone. And I hope you realize that these are just fun beer and pretzel rolls. My Olympia, I have it steering away from those 2 Spanish light cruisers. They only move 2 inches, but they do have a torpedo tube each. And I don't want to get near those things because I don't have too many hit points left on the Olympia. We are going to try to knock out the last German light cruiser here. And the Ponce de Leon Spanish cruiser, we have to roll to see if it puts out its fire. And it does not. It takes 1d6 of damage, which is 2 more points. And that burns it up. It's now on fire and gone. Now the Olympia, 4, 5, or 6, and I rolled a 6. So our Olympia, with its gallant crew, puts the fire out. All right. Wow, we're down to 2 slow-moving Spanish ships and 1 German light cruiser. And I'll finish off the combat rolls now. Well, welcome back, everyone. The Olympia, everything fired on the Olympia, by the way. And what hits we have, we are down to 12, 13, 14, 15 points. One more and she is gone. So, the Spanish light cruiser is dead in the water. It has no more movement and it's on fire. So that's pretty much a hulk. This ship is sunk. And then our other German light cruiser, it lost its forward and aft gun, its movement down to 1, and its hit points of 5. It has 7. So Admiral Dewey and the Great White Fleet has successfully defeated a combined fleet of the Spanish ships that would have been at Manila Bay, along with 2 German heavy cruisers and a German light cruiser. However, the Olympia is 1 point away from sinking, and she is down to 3 speed points, by the way. It did not lose any guns. So Brooklyn is lightly damaged, the Philadelphia and the Baltimore. So we did lose our torpedo boat, the Yorktown. The Concorde is okay, and I think sort of really nostalgic. I don't think I had these out in probably 5 or 6 years. And I have all my naval stuff here, my airplanes, and the Vikings. So the next couple days, I'm going to be working on history videos with Goober the Traveling Bear in the area, and also doing some things with my wife. So this may be the last video for the Wargame channel to raise money. I know it's not as exciting as Jim Perky's Gettysburg game or Chucklehead Sands of the Sudan. But anyhow, I hope you enjoyed it. Kim Metis, when's the last time you've seen a Spanish-American war game? And once again, I used Beer and Pretzels Ironclad revised by me. And I just changed some of the stats for the ships. And they are originally by Buck Surdrew. They're available on Wargame Vault. Thank you, everyone. Stay safe, be kind, and be courteous. And please keep watching my channel so I can make more money on YouTube and then give it away.